Hi everyone and welcome along. Crumble and I are excited to be outside because the weather is glorious, and so we thought we have to paint some flowers. And before I tell you what we've got today, I want to let you know that on Friday of this week I'm going to be announcing the 2027 spring and summer retreats that I've got for you. And if you want to get a slightly earlier access than that, then Patreons and YouTube channel members will be finding out a day earlier on Thursday. So if you want to make sure to get one of those spaces, then Crumble's off to join. If you want to make sure that you don't miss out, then I highly recommend going and joining our Patreon or YouTube channel membership, and you'll be one of the first to find out. But now over to what we're painting today. We've got this beautiful little flower either called a rock rose, that's how I know it, but its proper name is the Alpine Helianthemum, which is a bit of a mouthful, so I call it a rock rose throughout the piece. But it's a really fantastic flower if you are fairly new to watercolour, or if you're quite an experienced painter and you just want to try something new and a little bit simple. It's got gorgeous colour blends, really useful techniques on layering and glazing, and we have got a brand new setup that's going to show you exactly what you need before we get started. To paint this flower, you will need 6 by 8 inch cold pressed watercolour paper, an HB pencil, hard and soft erasers, pointed round brushes, sizes 6, 2 and 0. And the colours I used: lemon yellow, organic vermilion, pyrrole orange, alizarin crimson, burnt sienna, green gold, sap green, aqua green, Payne's grey, Hansa yellow medium, moonglow and yellow ochre. You'll also need jars of water, I used 2 for this, and paper towel to blot off your brushes. Grab your paints and let's get started. As with all flowers, we start with a central sort of dartboard, I suppose, a little circle and a dot in the middle, which is where the centre of our flower is going to come, and then nice little stem. Rock roses do have a wonderful wiggle to them because the way they grow. And then I'm going to have a second stem, which is going to have some growths of the little buds coming off it. And also, if you wanted to, you could add in a few extra little lines for the leaves that grow from the side. And then what I love to do is just roll that pencil with my soft eraser, and then we're ready to paint. I've got my size 6 brush to do some mixing first off, and I've got some lemon yellow that I'm just waking up, and in fact I can just go straight in and place in a few little sort of dots around that central circle. It's not a huge amount of colour, but it's what we need to put in first because a rock rose has a central yellow sort of set of little filaments and anthers. Now I've got some organic vermilion, just my red colour, and I think it would be good to place in a little bit of pyrrole orange as well, because it's a very sort of tomato-y red to begin with. And then what I also want is just a little bit of alizarin crimson, and I'm going to put a bit of burnt sienna in with it too. I hope you like the new way we're doing the description of what you need to get started. Let us know in the comments what you think of that, and if you like it, then we will be doing it more. Okay, so a rock rose has 5 petals, and I'm going to use my size 6 brush and use this nice bright mix. I'm always just blotting my brush off on the kitchen paper just to make sure it's not too much. And I'm going to allow my brush to just kiss the edge of that yellow, and I'm creating this nice broad petal shape by just angling my brush down quite low to the page and just allowing it to, like I say, just touch the edge of that yellow. We've got 5 petals on a rock rose, and every single one is sort of anchored down into the central point. And you might think, oh, but are you going to be able to fit 5 on? Well, the joy of painting like this is, yes, we can, because we can squeeze one in, but also it's got a much more sort of realistic look to it if you do them where maybe one's a bit squashed in at the end. Now I'm going to take this little mix here and I'm just going to add a little bit of it whilst we're still wet. Nice little wet on wet vibe here. And it's just the beginning of starting to create a really nice rounded shape. And I'm also going to take some slightly more concentrated organic vermilion, the red shape, and just drop in a little bit as well, because watercolour does dry quite a lot lighter than when you place it on. So we just want to make sure that we're getting the nice colour. And it's a hot day today in the UK, so we're just making sure that we think about that the paint is drying that bit faster on the page, so I need to act just a little bit faster. But it also means that I don't have to wait around so long for the time that I'm actually wanting it to dry. So we're just going to let that dry, and I'm going to mix up colours for my stem. And I've got a second jar of clean water to make sure that I'm not sort of getting too involved in the red tones of my other jar, seeing as they're 2 complementary colours, red and green. And I've got sap green, I've got green gold, and I also want a little bit of aqua green because it's just a slightly sort of bluey grey stem. And I'm going to take a little bit of Payne's grey in my other well and just take a bit of that colour to get a really nice sort of grey bluey green. And I'm going to start painting my stem using my size 2 brush, and I can just use the tip of the brush to get a nice interesting wiggly line. And then I'm going to take a bit more green on the brush for the second line I'm going to do, that is an attempt to get sometimes a parallel line with a bit of a gap in between, and the rest of the time just a nice sort of second line to get the stem to be exactly the thickness I want it to be. So I'm really pleased with that. I've also got to place in this stem, and we'll also just add the branches for the buds. Now I've got the branches in, I'm just going to use a bit more of the same colour to do a nice sort of bud shape just by pressing down on the brush, curving it around using the belly of the brush to create that shape, and then just finishing it off on the other side with a little thinner stroke that leaves a tiny bit of unpainted space and looks very cool. And now I can use the little lines I drew to place in some leaves. Now with a smooth-sided leaf, we've been doing a lot of that. You can do 2 strokes, so curving it down and then coming down on the other side. Or you could just do a single stroke like that. It's very up to you, and to be honest, it's going to probably be determined by how awkward it feels. So you may just be absolutely fine to do a single stroke like that, or you just think, I want a bit more control, I'm going to help myself out. But the most important thing, so I'm just going to take a bit of the slightly shadowier colour, just send a little bit up those whilst they're still wet, just about still wet. Gosh, feels like I'm painting back in Portugal again. And of course, don't forget that we are going to be announcing the spring and summer 2027 retreats, and you will hear on YouTube on Friday, but paying patrons and YouTube channel members will hear a day early, with the chance to book a day early on Thursday. So if you are really keen to get one of those spaces before they book up, because they have been known to go within 24 hours, then you can find how to join Patreon or YouTube channel membership and just get that early access. Okay, so we've got a lovely set of leaves here, and I'm pretty sure, yep, that's dry. That's no surprise. So I'm going to now take a much richer, more opaque version of some of the reds that I was using. So this time I've got alizarin crimson and organic vermilion just mixed up there. But before I do that, I'm going to take some Hansa Yellow Medium, which is my much more warm and opaque yellow. It just stands up a little bit better against the backdrop than the lemon yellow, but I wanted to start with my lightest colours first. I'm going to add more dabs and dots that are just protruding out just a tiny bit further. And now, still with my size 2 brush, I'm going to use this mix of alizarin crimson and organic vermilion to just sort of, when I say sort of scribble the brush, it's to give a texture to these petals. I don't want to do it too neatly because these petals have a real character to them, and it also just really helps you get the sort of definition between the petals of which is which, if you've got some that have overlapped like mine just there. Always thinking about the sort of direction in which the strokes are going, but also not being too sort of pretty and perfect with it. I want to have that lovely sort of character on the petals. And it doesn't matter if you get a little bit of bleed and blend from the yellow, that's kind of what we're all about. So we're just going to let that dry, and then we can come back in and add some finishing touches. So time for a little bit more Payne's grey in this mix, so sort of create a bit of a shadowy tone really. And glazing. To give it a nice bit of depth. Watercolour does dry a lot lighter, so don't be scared when you place it on. It really helps your painting pop off the page. And for this I can just add a little bit of a more sort of textural stroke to give it more of a feel of being those buds that just want to open. Okay, now I know it's a simple flower, but it's all about enjoying the process and just taking your time with it. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to place in a little glaze on some of the petals, but I'm also going to use a bit of yellow ochre, quite concentrated, with my little brush, just to loop around and dot to give that central area just a bit more definition. It doesn't need much at all, but it is a good idea to do it. And finally, a little glaze. I'm going to glaze first in Pyrrole Orange. Glazes are transparent layers, so this is a dilute colour going over the top, and the whole point of it is that you can still see the colours underneath, and it just adds a really nice little dimension. And then finally, to get my darker colours involved, I've got some Moonglow and Burnt Sienna, and whilst it's just still a little damp, I just want to place in that little bit of colour, particularly briefly just underneath there. And there we have a gorgeous little rock rose, the perfect flower to try if you're fairly new to watercolour painting and you want to sort of just explore that slightly looser feel. It's one of my favourite flowers to paint and one of my favourite flowers to teach, so I really hope to enjoy it. So things to remember, let us know in the comments what you think about our brand new You Will Need section, and also don't forget, if you want to get a space on one of my 2027 spring and summer painting retreats, then the best way to do that is to get early access by either signing up to Patreon or to YouTube channel membership. But I will see you later in the week for some very exciting announcements. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!